Dedan Kimathi, born in 1920, hails from the Kikuyu ethnic group, which inhabits the fertile central highlands of Kenya. Growing up in the Nairi district, Kimathi's early life was molded by the harsh realities of colonial rule. British colonizers had seized vast tracts of land from the Kikuyu people and handed them over to European settlers. This dispossession of land, coupled with forced labor and other oppressive policies, created an environment of tension and resistance. From an early age, Kimathi became acutely aware of the injustices being perpetrated against his people. It was within this context that his journey toward becoming one of Kenya's most revered freedom fighters began. Kimathi's education was limited, but it was enough to stir his growing dissatisfaction with colonial authority. In the early 1940s, he joined the King's African Rifles, a military unit formed by the British to enforce colonial rule in East Africa. While this may seem like an allegiance to the British Empire, it was, in fact, an opportunity for Kimathi to gain crucial military skills that would later benefit the Mau Mau resistance movement. His time in the British military did not quell his growing frustration. Instead, it strengthened his resolve to fight for the independence of his people. Witnessing firsthand the brutality of British rule, Kimathi soon became disillusioned with his role in the colonial army. In the mid-1940s, as colonial oppression in Kenya intensified, a wave of nationalist movements began to rise. Kimathi, recognizing the need for organized resistance, joined the Mau Mau movement. This movement, made up primarily of the Kikuyu, was driven by the desire to reclaim ancestral land and push back against colonial authorities who had stripped the Kikuyu of their lands and dignity. The Mau Mau Uprising, which began in the early 1950s, sought to bring an end to British control in Kenya. At its core, the Mau Mau was a call for justice and equality, fueled by the deep frustration of a people denied their basic rights. By 1952, the Mau Mau had escalated its campaign, targeting British settlers and colonial officials. Kimathi emerged as one of the key leaders of this underground resistance. The Mau Mau fighters, often called freedom fighters, used guerrilla tactics to disrupt British operations. They would ambush colonial police and military forces, raid settler farms, and sabotage infrastructure. The struggle was not only about land, but also about reclaiming the dignity of the Kenyan people. As the Mau Mau grew in strength, Kimathi rose through the ranks, ultimately becoming the commander of the Central Region's resistance forces. Under Kimathi's leadership, the Mau Mau became more organized and effective in its resistance. His charisma, military acumen, and unwavering determination to free his people made him a beloved figure among his followers. He was not just a military leader. He was a symbol of the struggle for freedom. His leadership was characterized by an unwavering commitment to the cause and a deep understanding of the sacrifices required for independence. Despite the many hardships and the looming threat of death, Kimathi's resolve never faltered. His forces operated primarily from the dense forests of the Aberdare Range in Mount Kenya, using the terrain to their advantage. However, the British military's response to the Mau Mau uprising was swift and brutal. Thousands of soldiers, police, and local informants were mobilized to hunt down the freedom fighters. The British forces employed scorched earth tactics, burning villages, destroying crops, and executing suspected sympathizers. The Mau Mau fighters, though outnumbered and outgunned, continued to resist. The British had underestimated the resolve of the Kenyan people. Kimathi's leadership kept the morale of his forces high, and the resistance continued to challenge the might of the British colonial forces. Despite the harsh conditions and the constant threat of capture, Kimathi remained steadfast in his leadership role. His ability to inspire his fellow fighters and to maintain unity within the Mau Mau ranks was a testament to his strength as a leader. While many leaders of the movement sought safety in the cities or in exile, Kimathi stayed with his people, leading from the front. His leadership in the field made him a symbol of defiance, not just for Mau Mau fighters, but for all Kenyans who sought independence from British rule. However, the British forces were relentless. They systematically sought to destroy the Mau Mau infrastructure, using a combination of intelligence gathering, brute force, and psychological warfare. For years, the British launched operations to capture or kill key figures within the Mau Mau leadership. But Kimathi remained elusive. Yet, despite his ability to avoid capture for some time, it was clear that the odds were stacked against the resistance. The British forces were growing more sophisticated, and they were closing in on the Mau Mau Central Command. On October 21st, 1956, Dedan Kimathi was captured. His capture marked a turning point in the Mau Mau Uprising. While it was a significant blow to the resistance, it did not signal the end of the struggle for Kenyan independence. Kimathi's capture was the result of a combination of betrayal and the relentless pursuit of the British military. After his capture, Kimathi was tried in a British court, where he was accused of leading an armed insurrection and inciting violence against the colonial government. The trial was widely viewed as unjust, as Kimathi was denied a fair hearing, and the evidence against him was circumstantial at best. Kimathi's trial was a spectacle designed to make an example of him. The British authorities wanted to demonstrate that they would not tolerate rebellion, and that any resistance would be met with swift and decisive punishment. Despite the overwhelming odds against him, Kimathi remained defiant throughout the trial. He refused to show remorse for his actions, viewing his fight as a legitimate struggle for freedom of his people. His unwavering stance made him a martyr in the eyes of many Kenyans, who saw him as a hero who sacrificed everything for the cause of independence. In December 1956, Kimathi was sentenced to death by hanging. The British authorities, determined to quash the resistance, executed him on February 18, 1957. His death, however, did not extinguish the flames of resistance. Instead, it strengthened the resolve of the Kenyan people. Kimathi's sacrifice became a rallying cry for those who continue to fight for freedom. His martyrdom symbolized the price that would be paid for independence, and it became a catalyst for the eventual victory of the Kenyan independence movement. The execution of Kimathi was not the end of the Mau Mau Uprising, but it was a significant moment in Kenya's struggle for freedom. Despite his death, the spirit of resistance lived on. In the years following Kimathi's execution, the British government came under increasing pressure to grant Kenya its independence. The Mau Mau Uprising, along with the broader nationalist movement, had succeeded in highlighting the unsustainable nature of colonial rule. By the time Kenya gained its independence in 1963, Kimathi's vision of a free and self-determined Kenya had begun to take shape. Kimathi's legacy has been one of enduring significance. In the years following Kenya's independence, he was celebrated as a national hero. His story became central to the narrative of Kenya's struggle for independence. Monuments were erected in his honor, and his name became synonymous with the fight for justice and freedom. Kimathi's courage, leadership, and sacrifice became a symbol of Kenya's determination to break free from the shackles of colonialism. In the years after Kenya's independence, Dedan Kimathi's memory was enshrined as a beacon of hope for generations to come. His legacy was not just that of a military leader, but also that of a visionary who understood the importance of land, justice, and equality in the post-colonial world. His name is spoken with reverence in Kenya, where he is regarded as one of the country's most important liberation heroes. Statues and memorials dedicated to Kimathi to the landscape, reminding the people of Kenya of the price paid for the freedoms they now enjoy. In the years that followed, Kimathi's influence spread beyond Kenya's borders. His courage in the face of overwhelming odds became a source of inspiration for liberation movements across Africa. His story was told and retold, not just in Kenya, but across the continent, as an example of the power of resistance against imperialism. Kimathi's commitment to the cause of freedom was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the desire for self-determination. Today, Dedan Kimathi is remembered not only as a key figure in Kenya's independence movement, but as an enduring symbol of resistance against oppression. His life and legacy continue to inspire those who fight for justice, dignity, and freedom around the world. His story serves as a powerful reminder that the struggle for independence is never easy, but it is a struggle worth fighting for. Kimathi's death was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter in Kenya's journey to self-determination. In the National Heroes Acre in Nairobi, Kimathi's remains were reburied in 1969, alongside other prominent figures from Kenya's independence movement. This act symbolized a national recognition of his sacrifices and a recognition of his role as one of the founding figures of independent Kenya. Kimathi's story is more than just a historical account. It is a living legacy, a reminder of the courage and determination that led to Kenya's freedom. Dedan Kimathi's life is a testament to the power of resistance, the importance of unity, and the enduring strength of a people who refuse to be oppressed. His story is one that will continue to resonate for generations to come, not only in Kenya, but across the globe. His name will always be synonymous with the fight for justice, the pursuit of freedom, and the quest for dignity. Kimathi's legacy, far from fading into the past, continues to inspire new generations to stand up against injustice and fight for freedom of all people.